This just can't be summer love. You see, this just can't be summer love.
G'day folks, welcome to Big V TV. What is wrong with you lot? Yeah, that was great, well done. I had a week off.
Yes.
Everyone enjoy the cup?
Yep.
Is that why we weren't here?
That's why we weren't here last week. We were off at the races.
I lost $100.
Yeah.
How bad is it? You know things aren't going too well in your life when you back the winner and the wife backs second and third. You don't communicate with each other, so you don't put a trifecta on, and you miss out on 45 grand. But anyway, life goes on.
That's what you did.
Oh, hang on. No, hang on a second. I know somebody that may have done that. Put it that way. Hey,
wow.
it is a big show coming up.
Did anyone win the
What?
the massive tax
lotto.
or what was it?
Well, no,
Powerball
I got 6th division.
The 100 mil. Yeah. I won 40.
Didn't put
Did you?
40 mil.
Yeah.
I wish $40.
Yeah, no, I won $20. It's better.
I'm already rich.
Yeah. Oh yeah, rich. Yeah. That paycheck down at
Oh, I love the way he
McKinnon.
puts his hand over his big V logo. And
Now, big show. We're talking structure. We're talking 2013 structure, and to do that, we need to go. But I've got a feeling that when we go we're going to get told to come back later.
Yeah, we're going to come back later.
Right.
Otherwise, we'll be here all day.
Well, no, later in the show. We're not talking about next week.
No.
Later in the show.
Yeah, let's
Because,
get through trading places.
well, we've got
first.
the whole structure.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. Stay with us. First of all, trading places. Have you seen it? You haven't, have you? Have you seen it?
No.
For those that are new to BBTV, Callum was tasked with watching the movie Trading Places, I think in
8
about
weeks
show
ago,
one.
2 months ago.
Yes.
I'm too old.
Promised several times.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh,
Very
seriously,
good.
that's so disturbing.
Very good. Anyway, let's go. Trading places.
She's very fit.
What have you got for
She's a
us?
handsome woman.
What have you got for
Oh, well, I
us?
got this one yesterday. It's a woman.
Can't say that.
Go on, let's go.
Sam Creed, an Eltham stalwart, has been there from day one. She's been since she was 6. She was in the
As
domestic
in Samantha.
competition.
Samantha.
Yes.
Samantha.
Yeah, very good player.
She had her NCAA debut in Yearby, and 28 points on 6 straight. She had 5 rebounds and 4 assists in the 64-58 win knockout.
Quite game.
Whew.
Get the
Not
job
bad.
done.
Lazy
Yeah.
day out.
Well, it's always good to see BB's players getting it done overseas.
4 assists.
Yep.
Is that your career total?
Don't worry about
I think we
28
can get to
points.
that again, aren't we?
28 points, that's 3 years worth for him. 28 points. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, career total.
That's right. That's
4
very good.
assists as a career total.
Great story.
6
Sam Creed.
trays.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really good story.
That's more like me.
Yeah. No. Moving right along. Now this is a big story, and we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on the show, and I've got to tell you, it's gathering momentum.
Oh, really?
It is gathering momentum. Eric
So it doesn't
Miraflores.
mean it's true though.
Well, it doesn't mean it's true, and we're trying to find out from reliable sources if it is true, and they won't return our calls. We are continuing to hear that Eric Miraflores, the man that
Wandered into Craigieburn.
has wandered into Hume City and will be playing Championship Meth next season. That's what we're hearing. So anyway.
If this is the case, let's say it's hypothetical for now because it isn't confirmed.
Oh no, it's rumoured.
Speculation.
It's rumoured. It's speculated. At
I
the
think
moment.
this says more about for next season Craigieburn than it does about Hume City, and I think Craigieburn might be in. They need to do some recruiting if they're.
Well, the interesting thing is,
if not going to be in trouble in Division 1
Well,
next
the
year.
potential impact is greater
Yeah.
on Craigieburn.
Absolutely.
Hume City aren't confirming or denying, and we're hearing nothing out of Craigieburn. So anyway, we'll see
Let
what.
us smoke this fire.
Well, we'll see what comes of it. We'll wait and see. Big news down at Keysborough.
Huge.
They are on the move. Keysy. Who coaches them again? Who coaches Keysy?
Oh, I can't remember.
What's his name?
Don't know.
Huge news down at Keysy.
Hasn't got my vote.
I've got a feeling that Tim Brooks might be
Nathan?
back there. Tim Brooks going back there.
I had Tim Brooks going back there.
But I've heard that they've also picked up someone from Waverley. What can you tell us?
Ben 10.
Ben 10
Yeah.
has gone to Keysy.
He will dominate.
Dominate.
Div 2.
They've got a great little relationship, Waverley and Keysy. There's, a lot of ex-Waverley players make their way
I
over.
like it. What about our boy? Is he still at Keysy next season? Our
Oh,
boy?
yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How is anyone in Div 2 going to be able to move
It's going to be like Shaq.
It's just he's just going to get it and be like, "Urgh." It's gonna be
Well, that's when
crazy.
they come up against Horsham.
Him and Corey.
Yeah, Corey Cole,
Yeah, it's
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
rip
might see
clash,
that.
yeah.
That'd be good.
Hey, let's stick with the farmers, not
I
the
think-
farmers at Horsham.
Just before you move off, Keezy, though, I think they're serious about the title.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
were very
It's
close.
about time.
Very close this
Well,
year.
It's high time
You
they
said
won.
Vody choked during the finals. That's a fair call.
Yeah, you
That's
did.
okay. let's
You might have clasped a hand around your neck but not actually said it.
Let's stick with the farmers. We'll go through milking country
Yes.
at Horsham and we'll head up to Orange County.
But see,
Well, they've left the Orchards.
Well, what's going on?
Well, he's gone off to the US.
Well-
James Madigan, their head coach.
He's actually gone to the US to recruit a couple of players.
Yep.
They've had like 37,000 applications from US
They
players.
ended
He's
up
got some
over
places
60.
to go.
Over 60.
Yeah.
And he's just gone, stuff that, I'm going to go meet him.
he's going to work out the best of them.
Well, he was.
Wow.
He lived there for a couple of years apparently, so he's got some connections, and that's why he's had so many calls. And I think that's when he goes over there, he's going to get some unbelievable imports.
He's a top bloke.
Oh,
Yeah.
I reckon Mildura's men's coaching job has just become the most sought after coaching job in the Big V.
No
That's
doubt.
huge news
It
that
is
he's going over there to work these players out. Look at
Right.
Mildura next season.
Don't forget though, the rule is in Div 1 that you can have one import.
Yep.
If you're a country team and therefore you're challenged in your recruitment
You can have
because
9.
of your location.
Oh, 2, sorry.
No,
2.
you can apply for a second, but it's not a given that you're going to get that
Ah, there you go.
every season. So we are yet to receive an application for 2013.
There you go. So you may only be going one.
So you guys could just be rumour mongering for nothing.
Well,
and you could be just over cruising
Well,
around.
he could be looking for one. And if he,
LeBron.
maybe, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he gets one that's good enough, that might be all they need.
Yeah, what's the next one for us? You can take this one. What's going on?
Well, down to Geelong.
Super cats.
Can we get some more big feet? I like these guys.
They're nice.
Good.
They're
Have you got
mugs.
one?
They're mugs.
Oh no, you haven't got one.
They're
Sorry,
mugs.
go on.
Wow.
Throw under a bus.
Wow. Through regroup. From an
Pretty
unknown.
sure you have one, and we wash your cup for you because you leave a line around with dregs in it, and that
Yeah.
one does say Cal on it.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
I couldn't help myself.
Shut up!
Nice job.
From an unnamed source, there is an assistant coach vacancy in Geelong's Big V men's team.
Ooh,
Rumour has it
ooh, ooh. Well, there might be someone.
is that a former player who defaulted to another team could be returning to the fold and the assistant coach, perhaps even as a playing assistant coach.
Ooh. Someone may just be rearing on up back to Geelong,
Yep.
kicking the old pigs.
Well, can we have a stab at what club it's going to be?
Well, look,
Well,
I
yeah.
I reckon it might
How
be.
many players defaulted to another club outside of the?
I just haven't heard a lot
I
about
think there was 2.
Yeah.
Hutchie
Hutchie and Rito.
Yeah.
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 And from what I've heard, Hutchie's locked in at Crow Bay next season. Signed.
Well, there's been, I think that he's been associated with both clubs very strongly
Yeah.
for 2013.
Yep.
So,
Haven't heard a lot about Jason Reardon though.
It's
No.
been a bit quiet on Reedon's front.
Maybe Reardon going back to Geelong. Assistant
Maybe.
coach playing.
Well,
Anyway.
Hutchie and Reardon were both at the Division 1 men finals, the semi-finals after they got bundled out in state championship against
They
Ringwood.
went alone though.
They went along with
Half the
with
whole
half of the
municipality.
team. That's right.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any animosity in terms of them going back to Geelong. I think is the point.
right.
Yes.
Speaking
we're on
of
the-
Crow Bay, yeah.
While we're on the Stingrays, they've made a huge signing.
It's big.
Yeah.
Not sure on the pronunciation. I think it's Marlo Hicks
Yeah.
from
That'll do.
from the Nuttawad Inspector Single
He's a
team.
beast.
He averaged 9 points a game and 7 rebounds in that competition last year. He's actually been touted as a future NBL player, so
good
this is a
pickup.
Yeah.
massive pickup to help their front court.
So what we can confirm then is that Williams won't be back there. Or it could be if he is.
No,
No,
they're-
still-
Can you confirm
still-
that?
Well,
How do you, that's a long go to draw.
their media release actually said that they're in discussions with Williams.
That's what I wanted to get out.
Well, they're
Yeah.
former teammates, aren't
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So therefore, what we're saying
I reckon
is
it's
there's every
more likely
chance,
that
there's
it'll be
every
back.
chance that they'll be together.
they? Yeah.
So sorry, what I was going to say is we're not confirming that Marlo's coming in to replace Williams. That's what I was getting at.
potentially play with him,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just said that the wrong way.
You know, that's
Okay.
fantastic. You know, they had an amazing debut season in state championship, and to know
Phenomenal.
that, you know, they're not just comfortable with that, they're trying to go out and get even stronger again.
Yeah.
They made the finals.
Imagine
That's
those two on the
awesome.
same team.
They're actually disappointed with how they finished last year.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I like
I like that too.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot. You got to aim high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, I think that's trading places done.
I just love the fact that you say aim high and we're talking about your game. But anyway, let's move right along. Trading places is done, which means you better have something good for Googs Mount. We want some basketball action. People out there,
We're starving. We're crying. They're crying out. They're crying out to have them. We've heard your calls, mind you. We don't get a lot of feedback. But what we
The
did.
feedback's the people that watch the show.
That's right. The numbers.
Come
Exactly.
on, basketball.
Well,
give us something
alright.
just to tantalise, wet our taste buds for the
Right.
next
Well, I
season.
caught a pretty sweet highlight on the NBA the other week.
I like this.
Well, about 4 or 5 days ago, when it was a 3-quarter call line from my boys, the Denver Nuggets, from Andre Miller.
Well,
Kenneth Faried caught it. He threw it
how good?
Three
How
quarters of
good
the
is
court.
Kenneth Faried?
Faried caught it. It's just gone. And he won Player of the Week this week, and he's my boy.
Have a look at this. This is fantastic.
Wrapped.
Yeah.
One of the best
Huge-
passes you'll ever see.
Wow.
Absolutely.
One of the best what?
phenomenal.
Passes you'll ever see.
Do you know that word?
Yeah.
Pass the ball.
Can you spell it for us?
SHOOT.
I thought you were going to say SHIT then. One or the other. Rightio. We're going to get into. Should we go see Beth first? Should we go see Beth before we get into the structure?
No, Beth,
screw it.
no.
Oh, okay.
Get it later.
Beth, get back in your box. All right, let's move on to structure. This is what everyone's been waiting for because the Big V AGM.
Is this
Well,
week?
if you're
weekend,
watching this
yeah.
prior to the weekend, it's this week. If you're watching after the weekend, it
Yeah,
was
we've
on the
already had
weekend.
it, yeah.
So let's go through the structure because here it is, which means it's time for. There you go, rightio.
Let's
Take
do
it.
Mario!
Take it.
Misspent youth, yeah, I'll tell you.
Did Mario come out?
Nice.
70s?
80s.
80s? I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Who are you for? What
I can still
No,
remember bringing home the first Super Nintendo. That was just the most exciting thing.
Can you
ever.
believe
What's
it?
that?
He was born in 1990.
That's ridiculous.
All the good stuff had happened by then, mate.
Yeah.
You missed out.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
You are younger than both of my kids.
Ooh.
That is really.
Ooh, it's younger than mine. Oh, that is scary. Right, let's go.
Grandpa.
Come on. Come on.
Oh,
Are you a grandma yet?
no.
Is that camera still on?
Can you teach me how to ride a bike? And can you knit me a beanie?
I can slap you across the ear.
Come on, structure.
All right. Well, it's no secret.
Scary.
It's no secret that Werribee have
Yeah.
taken the jump. They-
State champion.
Yeah, state champion. Applied to go up to state champion, which is fantastic. So we've got a division of 10.
Yeah.
And in terms of wherever
Beautiful.
you're going up, watch this space too. Watch it.
Watch it.
Just watch wherever. Yep.
Okay, so state champion becomes 10 teams. Werribee
Yeah.
adds to last year's or last season's 9.
That's it.
They're going to have
It's a better number.
they're going to have home and away 18 games all up for the season.
Yeah, a couple of people aren't overly impressed by the fact that it's just 18 games. But when you've got such a beautiful structure of 10 teams, and when you know that we're trying to get a push of additional teams up there, it makes sense to just run a home.
Home away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
A couple of people aren't impressed. Really?
Everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My opinion is they've got it wrong.
We've said it before, but congratulations on Werribee for taking that jump.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Huge.
Exposed their
Gutsy
juniors
move.
to the
Great
playing
job.
against strong bodies.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
They're not looking to bolster their lineup significantly. They think they've got the talent to be able to run it.
They're going to fill a couple? Or
Yeah, just a couple, I think.
Good. Oh, look
Just a
forward to
couple.
seeing how they go.
Yeah.
Division 1 men will stay
Is this how it's working?
a conference system.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Didn't we love the conference system
Yep,
last year?
absolutely.
Div 1 men?
It's
Absolutely
incredible.
was a winner last year.
Mm.
So we've only had a little bit of movement, and basically that is from the Terrell conference. We have had, obviously, Werribee have gone up, and to fill that spot, Craigieburn, the Div 2 men's champions, have come up and slotted in there, and Watson will remain unchanged.
Woo, Watson.
I love the East-West thing here.
Yeah.
I said it last year.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that we're starting to, form some rivalry, that East-West, and I can just see, whether it's this year or next year, I can just see
An all-star game.
Some
It's
East-West
East-West.
game.
Oh, yeah.
East-West
Yeah,
game.
it's not just the East-West thing either, like the rivalries within the
Yeah,
conference
that's right, big
themselves
time.
are strong as
Yeah.
well. And then when you factored in, it won't be quite the same this year, and we'll get to women shortly, but there won't be quite the same compatibilities. But in 2012, you know, where pretty much everyone played the same
Yeah.
team in a double
Yeah.
header,
It was fantastic.
Yeah, the crowds really came out and
Yeah.
supported it.
And look, from what we've heard as well, so many of the Div 1 men's teams are actually strengthening their rosters.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah.
Coming
like,
strong.
we keep saying it every year, but that division just keeps improving and improving, and I think
Yeah.
it's going to be crazy next year.
Yeah.
It's
So-
good.
Don't
It's
forget,
built us through.
we've built this structure though. Like, we're the Div 2 conference 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We've gone to the Div 1 conference. This will be the second year. We really want the top of Div 1 to be making the challenge up to state champ.
I reckon you're going to see it. I think we'll get to 2014. There's probably 2 to 4 teams
Yeah.
that'll look to jump up to championship.
We've already had commitment from
Yeah.
2 that they're
Yeah.
prepared to do it
Yeah.
for 14.
Good.
So let's challenge a couple of the others that sit up the top
Yeah,
every season.
absolutely.
About time McKinnon
Yeah,
did
just-
something. Rightio, D2 men. So sorry, the only change in D1 men, Craigie Boone in,
Yep.
and obviously they replaced Werribee, who's gone up to
That's
championship.
it. Yep. Other
Okay.
than that, untouched.
D2 men. I like this.
This is exciting.
I like D2 men.
Subject to approval at the AGM.
2 things. There's 2
Yeah.
things. You go with the first one. I'll tell you that. I'll tell everyone the second one that's subject to approval. But I'll.
We might be talking about the same thing.
Oh no! What are you going to
I'm
say?
talking about Shep.
Oh,
coming
I
back
love
in.
Shepparton coming in.
Love
Great.
Shep coming back in.
Really good.
They've done the hard yards too. They entered the pre-season tournament. They didn't put.
They did well too.
Well, they did well, but when you consider that a lot of their normal players that they have had already committed to footy for the
Kicking
season,
That's right.
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
And they were
they're-
still runners up in the
well,
tournament.
yeah, and they looked impressive. You know,
Yeah.
they've been serious about getting back into the league.
Yeah.
They've done the preparation,
Mm-hmm.
and they are absolutely ready and raring to go.
So that's
Gators.
11 teams. 11 teams in
11
D2 men.
teams.
Yeah.
Shepparton coming in, and it'll be home and away 20 games.
Home and away 20.
Yeah.
And just to let people know how this, you know, how do we decide whether Shepparton comes in or not? We don't. Shepparton have applied to come back in. It's up to the member vote.
Mhm.
So a motion will be
At the AGM.
At the AGM,
Yeah.
On the Saturday, a motion will be put to the members,
Yeah.
and the members get to vote whether to accept
Who's
it or
going to
not.
knock it back? Come on.
It'd be unlikely.
Come on.
I don't think.
Get 'em in.
In fact, no one that the board has endorsed has ever been knocked back.
No.
So it's
Love the
unlikely.
Gators road
Right,
trip.
that'd be right, mate.
Love the Gators road
Do
trip.
you?
So that's one motion that I know of with D2 men that's been put up.
What's your other
subject to
thing?
being approved at the AGM. The other one is Callum and I have put up a motion for the AGM this weekend, and we want all of the clubs to pass this. We officially have put forward Maccabi to be changed to our boys.
Our
Our boys
Warriors.
basketball club.
Yeah.
So we want that across the line this weekend. Don't let us down.
That sounds very YMCA.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
No, it doesn't sound like-
What are you trying to say?
No, but it sounds like an 80s,
Can you sing it for
corny.
us?
Yeah.
All right.
It's our boys though.
Our boys.
There has been another change in Div 2
Oh.
actually. Cranbourne are no longer referred to as Cranbourne, they're now
Oh,
Casey.
Casey.
Casey, yeah.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
So if you see them on the structure, I don't think it's a new team that we've just
That's
slipped
right.
in there.
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that supposed to say Casey, by the
It
way?
does say Casey, you just can't read it properly.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough.
C-A-S-E.
C-R-A-N-B-O. Okay, no worries. Hey, let's talk youth, because lots of changes
This is a big
to
one.
the new structure in youth
Proposed.
proposed.
Yes, this all has to get through the AGM. There's a lot around this, and I won't bore everyone with the details.
Sure.
The delegates hopefully will receive something on this today. But obviously we've been talking about it for 3 years now, about combining D-League back with State Youth Championship, or whatever we've called our top division over the years.
Yeah.
It's had many changes. So the proposed change is that it will be Victorian Youth Championship, and we're going to run with a mixed up 2 conference 8 and 8.
Can we read out the teams?
We can.
Oh, let's go. Okay.
Oh.
So in one conference, which would be the Terrell Conference,
It would.
you've got
Ballarat, Dandenong, Eltham, Knox, Melbourne, Nunawading, Ringwood and Sherbrooke. In Watson, you've got Bendigo, Diamond Valley, Frankston, Geelong, Hawthorn, Kilsyth, Sandringham and Waverley. So
nice.
the top, it's on ladder positions from the year just gone, like the BVDL and Big V State Youth Championship
Yep.
one. And so you've got a good sprinkling of strength in both divisions. Going to be there.
And that's the thing at the moment, we just don't know what
Who
the strength
knows?
is. So by having it off ladder positions, it's going to sort of show us that.
That's
in the
right.
And
first
year to year
so-
in youth, it always changes.
That's
Well,
right.
we had people last season with the conferences saying, "Oh, this conference is stronger than this one." You know what? You don't know till you get to the
No.
end of the season.
That's right.
And I know with the women, for instance, I think the winner came from one conference, but the other 3 semi-finalists came from
Yeah.
the other conference. So you just don't know.
Yeah,
you
that's
just
right.
don't know.
We had
like
so
it.
much interest in applying for this. I think
Yeah.
we had another 4 Big V clubs
Yeah.
that you know applied and
Usually one.
had
Yeah.
Yeah.
had some of the teams that, you know, finished in the top 8, had they decided that, well, their lineup wasn't quite as strong because they'd had players either move on or, you know, were too old to play, or for whatever reason it didn't suit, you know, we would have looked at that, slipping some of those teams in. But everyone who, you know, qualified technically on the top 8 theory, everyone wanted to take up a position.
One question. How exciting does it look?
Oh,
Looks good, doesn't
Can't
it?
wait.
Looks very, very good. Okay, youth.
Do you know, we're actually going to launch Victoria Youth Championship at the tournament this year.
Oh, pre-season tournament.
Pre-season tournament.
Ooh,
And
yeah, there's a scoop.
round 1 will be played. This is subject to OGM approval, as everything is.
Yeah.
But it's such a good idea. I really hope we can get this through. That we want to launch it, and round 1 will be played at the tournament.
Ooh,
We actually
like
want to put
Like
8th D League versus 8th
State Youth Champ.
State Youth Champ. Thanks.
The whole way up.
Yeah, and then 7 versus 7, 6 versus
Ooh,
6.
I love that.
Everyone
Nice.
in the state is talking about where's everyone going to
Yeah.
sit. So what a great way to introduce it,
Oh,
I think.
That's good.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is massive.
Let's
Well,
get it
another-
across the line. AJ just banged it
Yeah.
across the line.
Come on, everyone.
We can just
Come
talk
on.
about it
I'm
freely.
all for governance. We'll be at the bar by 2. All done. Nice.
That's not how
Yeah, I was going to say that. Seeing the paperwork, that ain't going to happen.
Youth League 1 men moving right along. 10-team competition.
This is a cracker
I
of a
love this
competition.
division.
We'll run through the teams. Tell us who's in it.
Well, we've got Altona, Blackburn, Bulleen, Hume City, Keilor, McKinnon, Sunbury, Werribee, Western Port, and Whittlesea.
Nice.
So you've got Whittlesea, Werribee, and Bulleen and Hume City coming down from the former State Youth Championship.
Well, not really coming down. 'Cause
No,
some
staying
people
there.
above has
Yeah,
been
That's
formed.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe the teams that are in Youth 2 last year have come up.
There you go.
That's right.
That's a
Yeah.
better way.
Yeah, so I think those two are integrating. It's going to be interesting to see.
And those teams that have so-called come up, they really were the strength in that division. So to mix those
Yeah.
with those
Looks good
sides
comp.
that played
Yeah.
in State Youth Champ, I actually
Tough.
think this is going to be close from top to bottom.
Yeah.
This is going to be one
Yeah.
of those divisions with a couple of weeks to go. There's probably going to still be like 8 or 9 teams that can still make finals. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, looks a
And
good
when
comp.
you look at the junior program of a lot of these teams that are in,
Yeah.
you know, Youth 1 men, they want to go somewhere. You know, they're
Yeah.
developing their kids, and they've
Yeah.
really got a plan that, hey, there's something above now for us to strive for,
Yeah, that's
just
right.
like the senior structure,
Yeah.
and we want to get that.
And it's
Halfway.
called Youth League.
Halfway.
Yeah.
It's Youth League. I like that.
What about
It'll be
Youth
easier
League?
for you, won't
Yeah, I
it?
know. It's if we had you in mind, we thought about what we're going to call
It took
it.
me bloody 5 years to know. What about Youth League 2 men? I think I've said it right already. What about Youth League 2
Yeah.
men? Who's in, Nate?
All right, so we've got Camberwell, Casey, Chelsea, Coburg, Corio Bay, Craigieburn, Keysborough, Melton, Mornington, Southern Penn, and Warrandyte.
So 5
So
Five
five
new
teams. So yeah, the
Yeah.
new ones are just Camberwell, Chelsea, Corio Bay, Keysborough, and Melton. So this is exciting because we don't know it's their first sort of entry into the
Yeah.
youth competition. We don't know what they're going to be like. I
Yeah.
reckon this is going to be
Yeah.
another good competition.
Yeah, no, I like it again. I think that you look at 3 competitions of youth, but one is a conference system.
Yeah.
Great pathway opportunity for kids in the state of Victoria.
It's
It really
fantastic.
just
all this.
underpins the whole senior
Yeah.
structure, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We were intending on only going with 10 in Youth League 2 men, but the 5 applications were really, really solid. Everyone had done their work, had made sure that they had a good group of kids ready to go. They weren't relying on stealing players from other associations,
Yeah.
stealing, bad word, but you know what I mean? We don't want to let clubs in that are going to say, okay, well, we actually don't have any players. We're going to go and take 5
That's
from
right.
McKinnon or
Yeah.
whatever to make our
Yeah.
numbers
It's not
up.
just to tick the box. If you get in, you've got to do a lot of work with your application. You've got to sit in front of the Big V competition subcommittee. That's then got to go to the board, for recommendation. It's not just you apply and you get in. It's not like
No.
that. So these clubs, as Rose said, have all done their homework, and I think it leads for an exciting youth 2-man
Yeah.
competition next year.
Pretty stringent
It's usually-
criteria.
It is. We
It
do
is,
put
yeah.
it through the ringer because we want to make sure that it's the best thing for the club, the best thing for the division, but also the best thing for the league, and that it's going to be sustainable over time. If you can put a team on the floor one year, that's great, but we don't want you to be in one year out the other.
No.
We want you to be.
And look, there's no doubt, a couple of bottles of red wine and dinner at the Flower Drum certainly helps. So let's move right along. Let's move on to the women's competition. Is that how it works?
Do I look like I've eaten in the last
that's
year?
right. Moving on to the women's competition, and there's a few changes in there. Let's start off with state champ women because that's probably the easiest one where there's no changes.
Absolutely no changes.
9 teams, same 9 teams as last season,
It's
but
a shame. Geez, we were close with getting. Really, we had 2 Div 1 teams that were very, very close this year, who just felt they weren't quite ready and need another year. They've given us a commitment.
Yep.
2014 is their year. We're going to hold them to
Right.
that.
Yep.
As you should.
And I'm hoping a couple more follow suit so that ideally we would like a 12-team conference with both men and women up in.
I think that's got to be the aim,
next year.
and I think that's really, if that's the aim for 2014, and I've got no doubt, I'd certainly hope the clubs stick to their word. I know one of them will, but definitely 12-team competitions. I think is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
You're going to track.
And you know,
Yeah.
when you look at the state champ women's competition next year, you know, there's already word that Hume City are making moves to improve themselves, Sherbrooke are making moves
Yeah.
to improve themselves. There's talk that McKinnon are going out and trying to get enough players to take that final step
Yeah.
over the line
They're
for
in
those
close.
girls.
Waverley
So-
will be
Yeah,
stronger.
Waverley will be
Another
stronger.
year under their belt.
So, like, I think it's actually going to, as a whole, the competition's going to take another step forward, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Now D1 women changes
Big
a
change.
fair bit. Tell us
Yeah,
about
it
it.
has. Look, we had a really good look at this, and it wasn't a decision that was made lightly, but the conference system, it was great in the men, but just not quite so good in the women. There was a definite
There's a bit of
top
drop
four.
off, yeah.
Definite top four in both of the conferences.
Yep.
And, you know, some of those margins between the top couple and the bottom couple was a bit,
Scary.
well,
Yeah.
you know,
No.
especially if you had seen the games live, you know, the team at the top was just playing their bench, and really it wasn't
No
the
doubt.
best basketball.
Yep.
When you,
So 20 or 30 could have really quite easily been 30 or 40.
or even 50,
50.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
realistically,
Yep.
50.
Yep.
Um,
That's not what you want. You
it's not,
want a good.
when you've got a multi-divisional
Yeah.
system, you don't have to put up with that. You know, it's not ideal.
So
I'll tell you
they've
now.
done something about it.
I look at the new Division 1, and we'll run through the teams in a moment for next season. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, it's a 10-team competition. 4 teams make the finals. Have fun picking the 4 teams,
Yeah.
I could not now pick
which is
that.
great. Which is exactly what you
It's
want.
pretty tough.
So the 10 teams are.
I reckon I get close to picking the bottom 2, and
Yeah.
after that,
Yeah, I reckon.
I
Yeah.
would roll of the dice.
It's going to be very competitive. Altona, Camberwell, Craigieburn, Geelong, Hawthorn, Latrobe City, Mildura, Sunbury, Warrandyte, Whittlesea. That's
That is
the
a
10.
fantastic
Good comp.
competition.
So
Yeah.
strong.
So the changes are that there's no conference system in Division 1 women. It's
Yep.
one team. It's one group of 10 teams will play 18 games. Division 2 is beefed up, and
time.
Division
It is.
2 looks a lot better
Oh, yeah.
than 2012.
And Division 2 will be incredibly competitive.
Yeah, well.
We've been having chats with some of these teams, and look, I'll be honest, some of the teams that were in Div 1 and have now, you know, found themselves in Div 2, they did take it hard at the start,
Yeah.
but they can understand where we're coming from as well, that we want to make sure our divisions are really solid
Yeah.
and the best competition happens, because we're the state league. It's not a domestic
Yeah,
comp,
Yeah, absolutely.
we're the state league.
We'll take us
Take a
through the 10
holistic
teams.
approach.
Exactly.
Division 2.
Blackburn, Chelsea, Coburg, Casey, Keilor, Melbourne Uni, Mornington, Southern Peninsula, Werribee, and Western Port.
It's definitely a lot better competition.
And
than
there is,
2012.
and there's some rumblings that some of these teams are making some moves in the right direction with some recruitment. We can confirm actually
Ooh.
that Southern Peninsula.
Can we definitely?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thanks for trading
Peninsula.
places. That was good.
So I'm just. That's why you got to keep.
He's got his index, so he's just been buzzed.
If only we were that high tech.
Hi. Southern Peninsula have locked down Jess Thompson.
Ooh.
She's a Frankston City
Franger.
player,
Yeah.
benching for them, and she's come across. Big pickup, and
I don't think she's going to be alone.
Cassie Bridge, another one, has come across as well, and there might be
More to come.
and more to come, yeah. And so they'll be looking good, as well as
There's some
Blackburn.
rumours about Blackburn
Yeah.
significantly strengthening their
Yes,
team.
yeah.
You know, there's quite a bit of talk about those teams that have come from Div 1 to Div 2
Yeah.
that are working hard on strengthening their team. So, you know, we had a 7-team competition last year, which was unfortunate because we had a team pull out
Yeah.
late in the piece. But, you know, bump that up to 10, and knowing that everyone's trying to get stronger, I think the Div 2 women's
Yeah.
competition is actually going to be really worth watching
Now,
next season.
I think the top 7 is going, based on last year's form, I think, and knowing what we know now, I think the
Yeah.
top 7 is going to be incredibly tight.
now, can I do an extra did? Because
Yeah.
this is big news. If anyone hasn't picked up on it, when we've gone through D1 women and D2 women,
Yeah.
there's one club
Someone's missing.
missing.
There is.
Tell us about
And
it.
it's not a typo, but unfortunately, the Div 1 women champs,
This is unbelievable.
back-to-back champs, Warrnambool, are unable to field a side next year.
They're out.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
It's really disappointing. Like it's
A number of levels.
well, it's disappointing for the competition.
Yeah.
But take that aside, it's disappointing for the pathway for the
that
kids.
whole region.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can get it together and we see them
Yeah.
again in the future because fantastic basketball. A
Yeah.
lot of great basketballers have come out of
They
Warrnambool,
have.
let me tell you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good juniors, not just in the Warrnambool region, but you look at Portland and you look at those
Yeah.
sort of outlying
Yeah.
districts and stuff like that that have some good juniors coming through that do get a lot of places and the state country teams and stuff. So you would hope that as those next lot of
Yeah.
kids come through that they can pull together a team to come back into the
So
competition.
no team.
No,
But
but I think
why?
Geelong may benefit from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's not exactly close, but it is the closest.
Closest.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't Warrnambool have, after winning Division 1, where have they
Surely got some
gone?
kids
They
coming
had a
through.
number of
haven't they?
retirements, which,
Right.
we know we hear of retirement talk every off season, but they genuinely have
But they've got
retired.
kids there.
But they have got kids, but they don't have enough to put a team on the floor.
Man.
And if you know right now that, you know what, we know that X, Y, and Z are moving to Melbourne for uni or work or whatever, and that happens in country
Yeah, it
locations
does.
Yeah.
all the time, then, what do they do? Then through a season? Do they invest that money knowing that they've only got what would probably be competitive with the youth two women, if that
Yeah.
sort of side? And that was an option we floated with them as well. If you don't have a team to put on the floor, I guess it's youth one women, isn't it? We
Yeah.
don't have youth two.
Yeah.
But, is that a better place for your team to be? But
Well, we wish them well. I mean, we're talking
Yeah, I hope that-
3 or 4 championships in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So really, really,
Because it's a one season thing, we hope
Yeah.
it's not something that
Definitely.
just ends up permanent.
Yeah.
definitely, we wish them well as they try to build back up. Okay, let's go into youth.
The women Victorian Youth Championship.
Victorian Youth Championship.
Subject to approval.
Right.
Thank you, Cal.
Go. General Conference.
Looks a lot like this. Bulleen, Diamond Valley, Frankston, Geelong, Hume City, Knox, Nunawading and Sandringham.
Nice.
What's in conference is Ballarat, Bendigo, Dandenong, Eltham, Kilsyth, Melbourne, Ringwood and Waverley.
Geez, there's some
There's
good teams there. There's some good teams.
And I think we touched on this a couple of weeks ago, but the way we came at the conferences was basically by ladder positions.
Yeah.
So, 1,
Yeah.
1, 2, 2,
Yeah.
all the way down.
Yeah.
So that at least on paper, we should have 2 relatively even conferences.
Yeah.
And until we've seen everyone play together, there's no other way to do it.
That's right. There's no way of knowing, which teams, because there were 2 separate competitions, which teams in which divisions were stronger. So
Yeah.
now that they're all together, it's going to take a couple of seasons to sort that out.
We should just say in both the men's and women's youth competitions, in the conference system, you play everybody in your conference twice,
Yep.
and everybody in the opposite conference
Once.
So it's 22 games.
Exactly.
Okay, just so everyone's aware.
Excellent.
And finally, Youth League 1 women.
With 2 newbies, which is fantastic.
I
10
do.
teams.
Altona, Coburg, new. Craigieburn, Hawthorn, Keilor, McKinnon, Southern Penn, new. Sunbury, Warrandyte, Whittlesea.
Nice.
It's another good competition.
They've been around for a couple of years now.
It's a very good comp,
Yeah.
actually.
And Coburg and Southern Penn, again, they did the work to
Yeah.
both of those teams. I think are going to be pretty strong new youth entries. I know Southern Penn have got a lot of girls that have been involved in the country program. They've got some fantastic juniors coming through. Coburg had a really good season in the under-20s. I think they won the VJL1 competition. So, both of those clubs do have the good juniors coming through to sustain a youth ones women's team, and that's great for the
And
competition.
they're rebuilding for the future too, Coach.
Yeah.
In
Yep.
fear of the show being movie length, Beth's box has been closed up for this week. The box is shut, and there's nothing to come out of the box this week, so we'll have to catch up with Beth next week. Very, very quickly. Am I right in saying that?
No.
Okay. Oh, we got the box. Or is there something in the box? Oh, there is something in the box.
We're all thinking,
Sorry, where
Why
are we
would
going?
you just think
oh,
the box
I
was
didn't.
closed
Oh, I
up?
didn't know that there was anything in the box. Well, let's go and see Beth then. Quick, let's go.
Where are we going?
Where are we going? Where are we
What
going?
time is it?
Time to find out what's
In the box.
Thanks guys, this week in the box. Did you know that Big V would no longer be eligible for Youth League as Big V is 24 years old next year? Happy birthday! Back to you guys.
Very good, Beth. I can't believe we almost forgot her. Well, we didn't forget
We-
it. Well, no,
we-
you
Well,
forgot
okay.
it.
No, well, I just
Oh,
I didn't know that the.
No, you didn't, did you?
Didn't know that the
You just
box
don't.
was up and going, so I wasn't sure. That's all, but that's good.
Considering
Well
we
done,
had the
Beth.
conversation or about 2 minutes before we came in here. then
Nice.
I can't-
It's a joke, mate.
Very, very good. Now we're going to go to the great man, but before we do that, very quickly, next week's show, we're
Yep.
going to let everyone know the finals structure for next season.
Yes.
So we've talked about the teams and the divisions and all that sort of stuff. Next week we'll go through all the final structure because there's a big, big change to the youth competitions.
Significant change to
Big
all these
change.
competitions.
So stick
Yeah.
with us. We'll catch up with you next week. Good luck at the AGM.
Thank
Have
you.
fun.
You're off to a wedding, aren't you?
Yeah.
Little family road trip
You
up
get
to
married.
Sydney.
You get married.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So what? Who's okay? Well, don't tell. No, don't
In the
tell.
car.
Oh, what?
Off
They're
to New South Wales
driving up to Sydney.
Hang on, is he getting married or?
No,
oh, he's going to a wedding.
to a
Okay,
wedding.
sorry.
Do you reckon the Chambers family sit there and they play Spotto and sing a little dance until they go?
Oh yes, yes. Hey,
93 bottles of beer.
I'm going to be taking a sleeping pill and sleeping.
oi,
Save me.
Okay.
great man above.
Great man.
See you next week.
Thou who attends the AGM must remember, do not scratch your head or put your hand up to go to the toilet, as you may be accidentally voting for Vlad Tankov as president. Uh-oh, the great man has spoken.
This just can't be summer love. You see, this just can't be summer love.